tree has been put up in front of the Forum. It'll be decorated with 10,000 lights ready for the switch on next Thursday. It replaces the ice rink, which has been there for the last 6 years.
We've had the ice rink for a number of years now. That's been really popular, but I think it was time for a change. We now have the permanent ice rink, which is delightful. So just something a bit more magical, traditional, and also, of course, it's free for everybody to enjoy.
Well, on to sport, and a weekend where 2 of our teams made it through the FA Cup first round. 2 went out, while 2 more continue to struggle in the league.
Jim Rice starts our roundup of the weekend with Lowestoft's Cup exit.
You hear a lot about the romance of the Cup, and for this year at least, Lowestoft's love affair is over, after a valiant defeat at Conference Club Wrexham. The cold hard financial facts, though, suggest the Trawler boys will net around £50,000 for getting this far, and take pride from the fact they came so close. 89 minutes, in fact, when Gareth Taylor's deflected header ended Lowestoft's dream of a first ever appearance in the second round. After taking on Chelsea in last season's competition, Southend won't be embarking on a money-spinning cup run either this year. A 3-0 defeat at Gillingham, but at least the Shrimpers' finances look a little better after chairman Ron Martin cleared the club's £2 million bill with the taxman. No room for sentiment in Norwich's performance at Polton. The West Country club play at the same level as Lowestoft, but didn't put up quite as much of a fight. 7-0 the final score, with 4 goals for Chris Martin.
A lot different to what we used to, I suppose, in League One. Not a bad little setup here. It's a lot better than what I possibly thought, especially the pitch. We could play football on it a bit, and but no, it was a good experience.
A similar story for Colchester at Bromley, with a few less goals. 4 to be precise, Coyote Odajay scoring the best of them. Our Championship clubs don't need to worry about the Cup until round 3, but both still have plenty to worry about in the league. Ipswich did take the lead at fellow strugglers Reading through John Stead, but once again gave that lead away. Simon Church with a scrappy second-half equaliser. Still, a point enough to lift Roy Keane's men off the bottom of the table. Jim Rice, Anglia News.
All the glamour of the Cup there, eh? Loads more to come in the forthcoming rounds, and it's all live on ITV, which is great news.
Well, back to the FA Cup, and 2 clubs through to the second round. Colchester are away at League 2, you can see that at Hereford. Now Norwich, they travel to the winners of the replay between Carlisle and Morecambe.
Morecambe it is, so those are the fixtures coming up. They're all replayed, and they're going to be played between the 27th and the 30th of November. The Brawn F1 team went on another lap of honour today, this time at a much more leisurely pace.
Oh, thank goodness. The team took a triumphant open bus tour ride through their hometown of Brackley in Northamptonshire to celebrate an incredible debut season. Rhiannon Mills went along.
The team at Brawn GP are no strangers to victory laps. Today it was in buses and not Formula One cars as they celebrated a fairy tale first year. A special day for them all, especially for the man with his name above the door.
It's been such a stunning year, and this is such a wonderful finish to it. It's unbelievable. I had many years at Ferrari. I never experienced anything like this.
The parade around Brackley tops off an amazing 9 months, winning the Constructors' Championship, the Drivers' Championship, and becoming the first new team ever to win their first 2 races. And hundreds of people in Brackley wanted to say a very personal well done.
Thinking that they had no chance, and then out of the blue, come back and take it over. It's just amazing.
With all the troubles at the beginning of the year, we really thought they wouldn't race, and we think it's excellent.
This is a team that over the last year have really got used to celebrating, and today, while the whole town have got involved, what's even more incredible about their story, though, is the fact that only 10 months ago they didn't even know when they were going to keep their jobs. It was only in March, 3 weeks before the start of the season, that Ross Brawn and Nick Fry revealed they would be taking the team racing again after former owners Honda had pulled out. For the 500 staff, it's been a roller coaster, but days like today make it worth it.
Last winter was pretty horrible for everybody, even the people that left, and it sort of hits at home a little bit that you've achieved something quite big. Yeah, it's really good. It's good for the team and all the boys in the factories come out and experience a bit of celebrating as well.
And for their night in racing overalls, it's been the best day of his career. Today, presumably, must be another day of huge emotions.
From the depths of despair over the winter to winning a world championship, I can't think of two greater contrasts, to such a low to such an incredible high. And it's just fantastic to share it with our employees and share it with all the enthusiasts as you saw today. It's been a wonderful journey.
He was keeping tight-lipped about whether Jenson Button is going to be back in the driving seat of what they say will be another winning car next year, although this is one lap of honour that could be very hard to beat. Rhiannon Mills, Anglia News in Brackley.
Lots of happy people there. Next tonight, the schoolgirl who's in hot water with her teachers for, wait for it, for wearing a proper tie to class.
And keep watching, because in the next 2 minutes, Becky's going to try and do this and get it round her neck. Right, yes, it was 15-year-old Rebecca Selisko who broke the rules at the Boswells School in Chelmsford because school uniform, it absolutely stipulates that all ties, they should be the clip-on type, not the old-fashioned type like this one.
The school says clip-ons are smarter looking than tied ties, but Rebecca's parents, well, they're so furious they've withdrawn her from the school until the row's been resolved. A very smart-looking Tom Barton takes up the story.
Tying the school tie has marked the start of a pupil's day since time immemorial. But for one student, this simple act led to her being thrown out of class. That's because the Boswells School in Chelmsford has introduced clip-on ties, and 15-year-old Rebecca Selisko was wearing a traditional knotted one.
I went in tutorial, and my head of year came into the class and went, "Are you wearing a clip-on tie?" Obviously I said no, so she took me out of class and then I went outside her office for a little while, and then she was going to sit outside Mr Crow's, so I sat outside his office all day.
Long multiplication and division.
Rebecca's mum was so outraged at the punishment that she's keeping her out of school until the issue's resolved. She claims the school took the decision without listening to the views of pupils or parents.
Some people would say, actually, why don't you just go out and buy a tie and get Rebecca back to school?
Because I think these may be children, but they do still have a choice. They're nearly young adults. They had a right to be heard, and they weren't. They're not in prison. They're in school. They're in school to be educated.
The decision to change the type of tie worn by pupils was taken during a review of the wider school uniform policy during the winter term of 2007. But it is the change to the tie which has proved most controversial, leading to a petition sent by pupils to the headmaster and a Facebook group opposing the clip tie's introduction. The headmaster today told me that the school uniform must be just that, uniform.
Taking a pupil out of lessons for a whole day, putting them in a corridor away from other students simply for wearing the wrong sort of tie, it seems like a particularly harsh punishment.
Well, we've spoken with the parents in this case on a number of occasions, and what we've been able to do is to clarify with the parent the process through which we went in terms of consultation and clarify the reasons for the introduction of the tie. So I think it's an entirely reasonable approach to take.
Mrs Selisko says she won't send her daughter back to the school if she's going to be punished for wearing a knotted tie. The school says its policy won't change. It looks like Rebecca could be studying at home for some time to come. Tom Barton, Anglia News, Chelmsford.
I don't know. You managed it, didn't you?
See, the thing is, I mean, that looks quite smart, doesn't it? But when I was at school, the thing was to wear that bit really fat and little and really long.
And you wonder why they asked them to actually have clip-on ones after that.
Oh, my God.
In my... I wish I was a bit more rebellious than the inch, but I wasn't, I'm afraid. I was very straight. Every single time, it was like this. I was very proud. It was just like this, every morning.
You're
very
nice.
nice.
Such a good boy.
Such a square.
Now here's what to expect on the national news in just a couple of minutes.
On the ITV News